Alright, we got a special delivery from Bozo Inc. Our friend Tom Lipton out at Ox Tools. This is a shaft out of a new bandsaw that he recently acquired. I believe it's a roll-in, and he's got some video footage of that. And he's been going through it and making some repairs on it. And this is one of the parts out of that bandsaw. I know it has to do with the feed, I believe. I can't swear to that now. I'll have to go back and look at the video. But anyway, this is a part out of his saw, and he needs a little bit of repair work done on this. And he even mentioned in his video that he checked price. You can, this is an off-the-shelf part you can buy from Roll-In, and if it was reasonably priced, it would be something that you just buy. You see, it's got sort of like a beveled spur gear on the end there, so it could be a part that could be made, but something like this is easier just to kind of buy a factory part and be done with it. I believe he said that this thing costs somewhere in the neighborhood of around $750, $800, so we ain't gonna replace it with a new one. We got some bad fits on it is what's going on, from this line here all the way over to where that undercut is. The shaft size should be 1 1/8, 1.125 nominal size, and it's got a lot of corrosion right here, a lot of rusting and pitting that's happened. Now that little radius undercut, he did say is supposed to be in there. I don't know what that's for, but that is supposed to be like that, so that's not wear. So what we are going to do, he sent it to me because I do spray welding. Some of you may have seen some of my spray welding. If you haven't, you're about to see some spray welding, because that's why we're going to fix this. I'm going to set it up in the lathe, and we're going to do some masking, and we'll do our undercutting, we'll do our spray welding, and turn it back to size. But yeah, I do have a couple videos of that in the past. If you want to search my channel, we got some spray welding we've already done on some other jobs. For all you new people that's come on and you haven't searched old videos, you're missing out. You should go back and look for them. But we'll go ahead and get set up to do this. It's going to take me a little while to get everything ready. I'm going to use the old 4-jaw chuck for this, and that's one of the things that I do like about having the old chuck still, is for doing spray welding. I'm not really worried about getting that dust and stuff on it, and keep the nice Cushman there, clean. I'm talking about the 12-inch Cushman now, not the 15-inch that's on the Monarch. I am going to try to utilize my fume extractor as well. That thing is a little bulky, so it's going to be difficult to get back here, but I'm going to try to get it back here. I got to do some stuff moving around, and I'm going to try to set that thing up so that we're sort of sucking in some of the fumes from the spray weld. Well, we'll get her set up, and I'll show you the steps along the way, okay? So this is the old 4-jaw that I was talking about. This is the original chuck that came with the Victor lathe, and I'm going to be utilizing this chuck whenever I'm having to do some dirty work like welding or spray welding, that kind of stuff. So I've already got the jaw set about 1 1/8 inch. That's what our shaft size is going to be. So we're going to end up repairing. I can feel a groove right here, right where he's got the line, and then we're going to go from here all the way to that, right up next to the undercut there. So we'll go ahead and we'll get it in the chuck here just a little bit. I'm not going to chuck very much. Just 2 of the little notches on the jaws there. Slightly pull it up there, and we'll bring our center in there. Now this is a live center that I only use for welding and that kind of stuff. Spray welding. It's been heated up a lot of times from the heat that travels through. It still works. It's still an accurate center, but I don't use it for finishing and that kind of stuff. It's just for the high heat applications. So that's the one I'm going to use there. And then whenever we go to do our turning, I'll take this center out and use a good one. So let's go ahead and we'll get her indicated now. I went ahead and put the newly repaired indicator on here that I had MR Tool do. This one is the number 25-441 1-inch travel. This is the first time I'm using it after the repair. Last little bit, usually you want to try to tighten it because you can usually move it instead of loosening it. So looks like we've got maybe 1 or 2 tenths of wiggle right there. So we're going to leave it there. I'm going to check the jaws though and make sure that they're all tight. Okay, I think we're good there. I'm hoping that that center is running nice and true. Let's go ahead and give it a little spin test just to kind of visually see what's going on here. Okay. Yeah, it looks good to me. I'm not seeing any kind of, by sight, I'm not seeing any kind of major run out there. We just have our wear. So I think we got a nice straight shaft. So next thing up, I need to find my mask, the masking compound, and we're going to coat the gear down really good, paint it on there, and this undercut, shoulder, and then from this point forward, we'll coat it down there too. Not, probably about 1 inch wide area. So this is it. This is the masking compound. It's called Solution 103. You get it directly from Untitled, and it's just it's like, painting a masking compound on kind of like masking tape. It's a real chalky substance that dries, and it keeps the metal from wanting to stick. I'm going to go ahead and give this a nice coat around the gear, because I'm going to be spraying right up here to the shoulder, so it's going to be trying to, hit the gear there, and I don't want it to be sticking onto the gear. And then once we get through with the job, we'll be able to clean all this off and give it probably hit it with a wire brush or a polishing wheel, something like that. And for the rest of it, we're going to go ahead and turn it on. You can see the extras trying to sling off there, really. I can wipe that stuff up before it dries. I'll put some down in the undercut and on that shoulder there. And then we're going to come down here, maybe slow it down, see if it'll keep from slinging. All right, we're going to let that dry, and then we'll come back and start our undercutting. So we're going to go ahead and start doing our undercut. And yeah, I forgot to put the masking on the radius right there, so I did that right when I turned the camera off. We got it all dry. I'm going to use this left-handed threading tool, and the reason why is because I'm coming up to this shoulder here, and this tool is going to allow me to get in there right about where I need to, and should be able to clear the little clamp right here. I could take this off if I needed to and it'll still work, but I think that it'll be fine. We'll go ahead and we'll pick us a spot right up here next to the radius, where that radius comes out. I think right about there looks good. And we've got our feed going from left to right. We'll go ahead and touch this thing off and kind of establish a zero. We'll start with 10,000, see what it looks like. We want to try to make this a minimal undercut as possible. It's already undersized somewhere, 15, 20 thousandths. So you can see right there, we got a lot of wear right there. It's really not even touching much. There it goes. I'm just bringing it on down by hand. Going in another 10. We've got quite a bit to go still. Just trying to take it a little at a time. I'm going to try to keep it less than 40 thousandths undercut if I can. I think we'll go back the other direction now. So we're not taking much of a cut. It should be okay on that tool. So I'm just going to keep working this until I get this thing cleanly undercut, and I'll bring it back. That way we're not kind of burning up a bunch of video time here. So that's a total of 50 thousandths undercut. I really don't want to go any more than that, but you can see that there's a couple of spots right here that we had some really bad pitting. There's some spots there, and one of them was kind of deep. I think it was that one I just showed, this one. What I want to do is just kind of go into this area from here to here, and I'll just undercut that area. That way we're not undercutting the whole thing and wasting a bunch of material that we don't need to spray on there. Let's see, I had the feed going to the right, from right to left I mean. So we'll start there. All right, almost. I'm going to take one more pass. And I think we're going to leave this being our undercut, just like that. Yeah, all right, that cleaned it up. I was 5 thousandths on that last pass. So let's go ahead, and what I'm going to do is we'll go ahead and get this side undercut just the same. And then we're going to go in there and we're going to cut a really fine thread across the surface there. That's so that the powder has a nice area to grab to. It helps hold the powder to it once it bonds. So let's see. We're going to go ahead and start down here. And kind of feel that. I got it right on the edge of that masking there, is right where that edge is. So it looks like this area right in here is going to be okay, just like it is. And we may just have to come in here and do another little undercut right here. We'll see how it finishes up. All right, looks pretty good. Still a little bit right there. All right, I'm just going to take 10/1000 and we'll run back across it the other way. Alright, so that cleaned it up pretty good. Now what I'm about to do is an undercut. I've got the lathe set to cut a 24 pitch thread, and we'll be cutting from left to right. And here we go. I'm plunging in. I just plunged it in 15/1000 is what I did there. Alright, I just backed out there by hand. Okay, that looks pretty good. So we'll go ahead and move down here, do the same thing. Chip is right there where I can't see it. It's important too not to reach up there with your fingers and touch that whenever you get it cut. You don't want the oil of your hands getting on the surface there. All right. Yeah, I figured it wouldn't get that there. Might have to go in there and cut that again. Alright, we'll come back to this section here. Alright, there we go. That'll work. That gives the powder something to help hold on to. So next thing I gotta do is just get everything set up. I'm gonna get 2 cameras set up, try to get a couple different perspectives of the spraying, and we'll bring you back. Alright, I think we're ready to roll. Try to get everything set up. So got the fume extractor over here. This is the very first time I've ever used this for spray welding in this shop. Usually I have to like open the door because it does put out some fumes, but I like to keep the air conditioner running in here. But I'm going to go ahead and turn it on and try to see if that's in a pretty good spot. I'm trying not to block the view of the camera so you can see the action here. And of course we got the dual camera going on. So alright, we're going to be going with, this is a bond coat right here. We'll be spraying this just to coat it, and then after we do a bond coat it, we're going to use our top coat right here. I know that's hard to read, but this is our build-up coat. Alright, and I usually try to get it 40 to 50 thousandths oversized, so I'm going to try to hit it 1.175, just using calipers every now and then, just checking it very lightly. We'll do a preheat to about 200 degrees. Got a temp stick here for that, and then we'll start spraying. So it's going to be a little noisy, but here we go. Got the torch on. We're ready to roll. Trying to get the heat set. why I can't tell, but it doesn't look smoky yet. That's going to be our bond coat. Now we'll do our build-up coat. Go ahead and check, see about where we're at. Getting close. We're getting close. We need a little bit more though. That thing is subject to fumes because it doesn't look smoky in here at all yet. I just can't see where it's going. I can see some fumes going up there. I think I'm good here. I just need a little bit right there towards the end. Right there. Okay. We've got about our 50 over. We got about our 50 over like we want it. Yeah. So I'm going to put a fan on it and try to cool it down. I'm going to go ahead and let my fume extractor run and try to filter out the air a little bit more. But I think it did a pretty good job. I don't really see much smoke in here at all. So we'll bring it back once we're ready to start doing some machining.